Coming up on Around San Diego, the wife of the CalFire captain found dead in her home, still on the run. We'll share new details from an arrest warrant. And a new bill could help homeowners with the rising costs of home insurance and policy cancellations. We're breaking it all down. Plus, the city of La Mesa says it's found the solution to your parking nightmares. How the parking T works. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news and we'll look ahead in just 30 minutes. We do begin with the search for a woman accused of murdering her wife in Ramona. Authorities tell us that she crossed the border into Mexico about an hour after that crime. Right now, the fugitive, Yolanda Marodi, is still on the run. As CBS 8's David Godfredson reports, investigators say the stabbing death of CalFire Captain Rebecca Marodi was recorded by a surveillance camera.
It sounds pretty awful because everything was captured on video.
I asked veteran defense attorney Jan Ronis to review this newly released arrest warrant detailing the evidence against Yolanda Marodi in the stabbing death of her wife, CalFire Captain Rebecca Marodi, last week in Ramona.
Looks like a slam dunk, but we don't know all the facts and we don't know what happened when the defendant and the victim were out of camera view, but it looks pretty brutal.
The warrant says Captain Marodi's mother called 911 around 9 p.m. on Monday, February 17th. Deputies found Rebecca Marodi with multiple stab wounds. She died at the scene about 15 minutes later. The mother told detectives that a week before the murder, Rebecca had informed her wife she was leaving her and ending their marriage. They also found surveillance video from the patio of the home where Rebecca was seen running away from her attacker, yelling out, "Yolanda, please don't want to die." Yolanda then responding, "You should have thought about that before." Yolanda is also seen holding a knife with blood on her arm, according to the arrest warrant.
It's a law enforcement narrative of what they think the evidence will show.
Yolanda's car, a 2013 Chevy Equinox, was seen crossing the border into Mexico later that same night.
She's kind of a sitting duck for law enforcement. Her picture will be widely distributed. She's not a citizen or resident of Mexico. So unless she has a lot of resources, which it takes a lot of resources to go on the lam, it's just a matter of time, I believe, before she's arrested.
Yolanda Marodi served 13 years in prison for manslaughter and drug possession after stabbing her husband to death in 2000. The arrest warrant says Yolanda texted a friend the day after the stabbing in Ramona saying, quote, "Becky came home and told me she was leaving me. She met someone else. All the messages were lies. We had a big fight and I hurt her. I'm sorry." Now that that arrest warrant has been issued, if she's arrested in Mexico, chances are she'll be walked across the border and handed off to U.S. Marshals. In San Ysidro, David Godfredson, CBS 8.
Meantime, a 22-year-old man remains behind bars after he pleaded not guilty to charges of murdering his 6-day-old son. David Ruiz was arrested after police were called to a home in Spring Valley. The baby was found with head trauma, dead on the living room floor. Ruiz has a preliminary hearing set for next week. And Governor Gavin Newsom unveiled a $920 million funding package to address homelessness, but with strings attached. He says cities must present focused plans on how they'll use those funds in order to get them. He also unveiled a new website, accountability.ca.gov, which allows the public to track each county's progress. During the press conference, the governor looked up San Diego County on the website, saying, "We appear to be struggling."
You can see the red in this case. Their unsheltered population going up, their number of shelter beds going down.
So in a statement, Mayor Todd Gloria's office tells CBS 8 the website lumps the city of San Diego in with the county of San Diego and the region's 17 other cities, and that the city of San Diego is acting with urgency to address homelessness. Meanwhile, frustration is growing over a homeless encampment in Chula Vista, located near a brand new billion-dollar resort and convention center. As a CBS 8 crew actually saw the area between the I-5 and Bay Boulevard just south of H Street filled with tents and other camping supplies. Those who work nearby tell us that people living inside the encampment are breaking into power sources to steal electricity and are tampering with water shutoffs, affecting businesses across the street.
Got into the water main or something and were messing around with it, and whatever they did shut down water to everybody here. There's a dialysis place on the end. It's not right.
Yeah, most of the issues reported are happening on property controlled by Caltrans, which confirmed they are aware of the situation. The agency said they're working on a plan to clean out the encampment soon. Chula Vista police are also aware and are working to clean out the area before that new Gaylord resort opens in May. Well, this week there were multiple protests as San Diegans voiced concerns over potential federal cuts to health care and food assistance. Alliance San Diego claims these cuts could impact more than 500,000 residents who depend on Medicaid, SNAP, and ACA health care. President Trump maintains cuts will eliminate waste and fraud. Acting County Board Chair Tara Lawson-Remer notes $1.3 billion of the county budget comes from federal funds, with disruptions already occurring. Concerns include Tijuana River sewage mitigation being jeopardized by CDC restructuring.
We cannot push forward on mitigation projects without data, and we cannot protect the safety of impacted communities without federal engagement on this trans-border pollution crisis.
Now, CBS 8 did reach out to Republican Congressman Darrell Iss's office as well. His spokesperson responded with this statement. It is the height of irresponsibility to misrepresent Republicans pledging to strengthen Medicaid by ridding it of billions in waste, fraud, and abuse everyone knows is dragging down the program. San Diegans know that we can make Medicaid better for everyone who needs it, end quote. And as homeowners feel the pressure of skyrocketing insurance rates and even policy cancellations, many are worried about how they will protect their property. But a new bill aims to change the landscape for California homeowners and promise relief from rising costs. Assemblymember Carl DeMaio introduced that bill. It would suspend the state tax on insurance premiums and cap rate increases at no more than 7% for the next 4 years. DeMaio says San Diego County is getting hit by a wave of homeowner insurance cancellations and massive rate increases.
Insurance was canceled in the backcountry last year. We had insurance for 20 years. It was about $2,600 a year, and the only insurance I could get was with CalFire, and that went up to over $11,000.
Yeah, there are now more than 451,000 policies under California's FAIR Plan. Well, tired of street parking nightmares, La Mesa has a solution, they say. The city's new Parking T program uses simple street markings to maximize parking spaces. CBS 8's Abby Black is working for you to show us how these Ts work and how you can get them on your block for free.
Ever try to parallel park and someone's hogging up 2 spaces? Frustrating, right? Well, the city of La Mesa is introducing a Parking T program to make street parking more efficient. These marked T-shaped zones define parking spaces clearly. We're working for you on how these Parking Ts work and how you can request one in your neighborhood.
Driving around La Mesa residential neighborhoods, I found that just a few more inches forward or back could have allowed another car to squeeze in.
And you're so frustrated because the gap's too small for you to fit, and so you end up parking blocks that way or blocks that way.
La Mesa Councilmember Laura Lothian saw the solution when she visited San Clemente.
Every car was uniformly inside those Ts, and they used up every single inch efficiently. I will bring it to La Mesa.
She paved the way and got full council approval for the residential Parking T program.
I drive through neighborhoods and I'm like, oh, this is a Parking T town. This is a Parking T town.
But what exactly is a Parking T?
All these Ts are just guides to improve inefficient parking.
These T-shaped markings designate parking spots common in parking districts, but now available for residential streets.
When people took up too much space, they weren't being jerks. What happened is they were just parking, and it makes you be a more courteous and polite parker.
One thing to keep in mind, if you park outside or over a marked T, you could get cited. I spoke to Mayor Marco Ropostathis, who explains the simple process on how to request one on your street.
And what has to happen is you have to have 66% of your neighbors that fill out an application.
So let's say there's 4 houses on one block. If 3 of the 4 say we're in, it's done.
Once approved, Public Works evaluates the location.
From the time you start, if you get everybody on board, it's probably less than 90 days. Wow. So we're quick.
Lothian, the first applicant, needed no neighbor approval since hers is the only house on her block on Lemon Avenue.
And I've had them now for about 2 weeks, and it's been perfection every day.
Best part, it's completely free.
The cost is nothing we absorb that cost. It's within our city budget. It's with city maintenance.
The next installation is planned for Palm Avenue near Collier Park, a busy area for pickleball and families.
So those parking tees are going to be essential there.
To learn how to apply for a parking tee, go to CBS8.com and click on the Help button. Working for you in La Mesa, Abby Black, CBS 8.
Makes so much sense. Abby, thanks. Still ahead, we just passed 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. We'll share the story of one local Ukrainian refugee. Well, the Carlsbad flower fields are now open just in time for spring. This year's theme is Where Color Takes Flight. It's inspired by the newest attractions coming to the flower fields. That includes the Glass in Flight traveling exhibit, which is a collection of more than 36 handcrafted sculptures. There's also the new butterfly encounter, which will allow guests to interact with the insects.
Hundreds of butterflies in here, and you'll get a feeding stick before you come in, and the butterflies want to feed on that. And so you'll be able to hold that, and they'll land on your hand, and you'll be able to get really close to butterflies.
So they say the best time to visit is at the end of March through April to see the flowers in bloom. So beautiful. Well, this past week marked 3 years since Russia invaded Ukraine. So now we are hearing about what life is like for a local Ukrainian refugee. CBS 8's Shannon Handy shares her story.
Nina Yerimahina came to San Diego 2.5 years ago. Since then, she's built a whole new life, but says her hope is to one day be able to return home.
We traveled through several countries in Europe, and we stayed in Germany. But everywhere we went, we felt proximity of Russia. The USA, it was like something where I can feel safe.
Nina Yerimahina says she's grateful to have gotten out of Ukraine safely with her mother and young niece, but is still sad for her old life and the loved ones she left behind.
Even the happiest day here for me, it's always something inside of myself that always say me, you can be happy, because people in Ukraine are suffering now.
It's not the first time she and her family have had to flee. In 2014, they were forced out of their Ukrainian hometown after Russia occupied it. So they moved outside Kyiv, Ukraine's capital, where they started over. Then 8 years later, it happened again. Nina tells me this time presented new challenges, including trying to understand a place and culture she had never experienced before.
Everything that we knew about the U.S., it's something that we got from movies.
It's estimated more than 250,000 Ukrainians have sought refuge in the U.S. since the war began. Fortunately, when they first arrived, Nina and her family found temporary housing with her Ukrainian boyfriend who moved here before they did. From there, local Ukrainians as well as support groups helped her fill out documents needed to stay and work. She has since found a job working for the same furniture company she did back home, as well as an apartment she shares with her mother and niece. She's improved her English through practice. Meanwhile, her mom takes language classes at City College, and her niece, now 10, is thriving in school.
We try to keep our culture, but we open for American culture.
While she's managed to create a nice life here in San Diego, Nina admits it doesn't feel like home, telling me with slight hesitation, if President Trump makes good on his pledge to end the war, she'd return.
If the war were to end tomorrow, would you go back to Ukraine?
I would say yes. I keep my hope that one day I'll be able to come back to my hometown, and it's gonna be Ukrainian town. So I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna say to my hometown, welcome back to Ukraine.
Shanna Handy, CBS 8.
Yeah, sincerely glad that they are safe. Coming up, a member of our CBS 8 team had the rare opportunity to participate in a guerrilla trek in Uganda. We'll share the story in an Earth 8 report. The critically endangered mountain gorilla is getting help in Uganda from the African Wildlife Foundation as they lead guided gorilla treks through the forest. A portion of the money paid for the tour goes to keeping the population safe, and a member of our CBS 8 team got the rare opportunity to try it out. Excited to share this with you. Here's Evan Narani with this Earth 8 report.
The gorillas at the San Diego Zoo are one of the most popular attractions, but imagine getting an up-close view just a few feet away with no enclosures, just hiking to them through the jungle. That's exactly the opportunity that our very own Steve Price got earlier this year.
The crazy thing about this trip is that it wasn't something we planned for years. My daughter got a fellowship in Rwanda and we wanted to go visit her. And my wife said, hey, I just discovered right next door in Uganda, we can go gorilla trekking. Does anybody want to do it? I'm like, yes, yes.
The trek requires a permit through the Bwindi National Park, owned by the Uganda Wildlife Authority.
They only allow 80 people a day into the national park. So we didn't even get to pick really our day. We just said, hey, we're available anytime in this 2-week period, and they gave us January 1st. So I started my new year gorilla trekking. You can see there's no trails here.
And while the passes are hard to come by, the opportunity to get up close to these animals isn't one by car or truck. It's quite literally trekking on your 2 feet for miles through the forest.
You may get lucky and you only walk a half a mile. In our case, we ended up having to walk about 4 miles before we finally found our gorillas, because they're in a national park. They're not in cages. They can be anywhere.
The gorillas have been habituated, meaning they've been trained to live amongst humans. Still, guides keep each group at a safe distance.
And then you see bushes sort of moving in the distance, and you look over, and you're like, shh, there's a gorilla right there. And you're looking, and you think this is the most amazing thing you're gonna see, and then you look another direction, like, wait, there's a bigger one. Wait, this one's right in front of me. It was awesome. So here's baby.
Then a rare moment for humans to witness as a baby gorilla began walking up to their group.
We didn't really know what was gonna happen, but in this case, he came about maybe within 5 feet of us and just sat down at a bush and kind of looked at us and then just started eating. Like, didn't even care that we were there. But I'll tell you, everybody's cameras were like, chick, 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 you know, our cell phones were going crazy.
The African Wildlife Foundation says causes like habitat loss, poaching, and civil conflict have critically endangered the gorilla population, with only about 1,000 left. Under a revenue sharing agreement, the park allocates money to communities on the perimeter of the national park that were resettled to protect those gorillas. So anyone going on these treks also plays a role in their conservation.
Uganda has the largest population of mountain gorillas in the world. I had no idea. Uganda? Gorillas? I had no idea. But it is an amazing opportunity, and I'm so glad I had it.
Evan Narani, CBS 8.
What a rare and unique opportunity, just really life-changing having that appreciation. Thanks for sharing it with us. All right, well, that will do it for us. Thank you for your time. Thanks for staying informed as always. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take such good care.